Hi, welcome to this episode of U.S. Immigration Minutes. Before I take you back to our classroom, I want to talk about the title, When Saying Goodbye to Your Beloved Au Pair Causes You to Weep, Can You Help Them Stay? We have had the privilege of working with many families over the years who have hired au pairs to care for their young children. But then the working relationship becomes way more than that of an employee-employer relationship. In fact, the au pair becomes just like part of the family. At the end of the authorized J-1 visa work period, as an au pair, it's time to say goodbye, and everyone starts to weep. I mean, everyone. The children, the parents, and the au pair. Believing there's no way for the au pair to remain in the United States, and desperate for options, the lawyers here at ScottVassell Law Group have successfully navigated the complex J-1 visa Department of State rules to help. Specifically, we have helped an au pair in the U.S. with their newfound family through a change of status. If you want to learn how we do this, stay tuned as we go into our immigration classroom and explain.
Okay, here we are now in the library portion of our presentation, and we're going to go through and explain the process that we use, and it's very brief. Of course, you do need an immigration lawyer, but we want to show you the options for the au pair change of status. So let's get into our BLG immigration classroom. So a 2-year work requirement, that's the first thing that we want to discuss. It is important to check if your au pair has marked on her passport that she is required to return home and work for the 2 years as a term of her visa. If the answer is yes, you would need to speak with a U.S. immigration lawyer about the waiver options. When a 2-year waiver is not needed, there is a certain way that you need to check to make sure that the waiver is not needed, and we want to cover it briefly here. First, if a 2-year work requirement is needed and an individual has to go back home, the au pair is only eligible to change status, which must be planned well in advance if she gets that waiver approved. Otherwise, the au pair is only eligible to change if the 2-year marking is not actually on the passport. That's a really important point. Okay, so here's a summary of what we just explained. The 2-year residency in the home country, if it applies, a waiver must be approved. Alternatively, if the 2-year waiver does not apply, change of status may happen immediately without a waiver. Let's get into the visa options. So we've already cleared the waiver hurdle, and now we want to talk about a couple of visa options. So you can change the au pair status to a student visa. One option, this is one option, a change of status from a J-1 visa to an F-1 student visa is a great option, but it has the highest risk of denials if the visa is not properly bridged. The au pair must stack her visa options. In other words, she must pursue an intermediate visa to bridge from J-1 to F-1, literally stacking up the amount of visas filed at the same time. At no time may your au pair not be in valid active status while awaiting a decision on the F-1 student visa. More than one visa application would need to be filed on top of the F-1 student visa application, such as a B-1, B-2 visitor visa. Also, the I-20 may require several updates by the F-1 student, university, or college designated student officer, also called a DSO. All right, so as you can see, we just discussed the F-1 student visa. The main takeaway here is that stacking is required. It is a complex concept, but as I just said, the main thing is you have to always have more than one visa going at a time. The F1 student visa is not a visa that can be relied on while you are waiting for the student visa to be approved. The next one that we talk about is H-1B specialty occupation. This work visa is very popular. It is capped by Congress. I just want to mention that. So a lot of planning goes into making sure you're ready for the fiscal year, where they start accepting applications once a year in April. So the H-1B is a specialty occupation work visa, and it's an example of another popular change of status. Au pairs who have the equivalent of a 4-year degree and have a job offer from a U.S. company for a specialized position may also remain in the United States, while they're changing their work visa status from the J-1 visa as an au pair to an H-1B visa specialty occupation. Likewise, the U.S. employer would need to be evaluated to determine if the job title and job description meet the Department of Labor's standards for an H-1B visa specialty employer. So there are many visa options that are not discussed here, and we just want to make sure that you're clear that your immigration lawyer has to do a lot of digging. They have to carefully review the au pair's resume or CV, any degrees or diplomas earned abroad, and prior job experience to determine the correct visa category. Also, don't assume that your au pair doesn't have an outstanding talent, whether in art, in business, or in some other category. She can be nationally known, she can be internationally known, and that brings on a visa category we don't mention here, which is the O visa category. Well, I hope that was helpful. And now you know saying goodbye and weeping at the end of your au pair working relationship is of course an option, but certainly not your only option. U.S. immigration laws are constantly changing and are complex. Therefore, always consult with a U.S. immigration lawyer if you're considering supporting or helping your au pair to change status while remaining in the United States. If you have any questions, you may email us at info@vassellaw.com or visit us at www.vassellaw.com. For office locations and phone numbers, you can also get that information on our website. Our U.S. immigration lawyers are available for an initial free 20-minute in-office or video consultation. Well, this has been your U.S. VLG Immigration Minutes. Without the politics, we hope that helps. And if you have any questions, do not hesitate to contact us. Thank you.